On a Monday afternoon, Adam Copeland, Rod Brooks hanging out with you as, Danny Dunn's hanging too. He's here. Look at him, that mug back there. Somebody checked in and said, dude, it's a Black Monday. Yeah, it is. We also, by the way, in NFL season decided, quarterbacks or coaches get fired Black Monday. We're big on Scapegoat Tuesday also, when the coordinators go.
Because coaches don't fire themselves.
No, dude, they don't. Or as Derek likes to go, on Second Thought Wednesday, when it's like, now it's McDermott. Actually, McDermott, you're out too. We don't want you to hang around. We'll talk some Giants baseball a bit later. Susan Celeste joins us at 4:50. Giants pregame at 5:40, and we're trying to make the connection with somebody to talk some dubs. There's a lot of Warrior news out there, but we'll keep you abreast of any updates there. The question at hand here is, how realistic is LeBron? Now, when you saw this report last night, Rod, and I think everybody did, as we're getting closer to free agency starts tomorrow, technically, by the way.
God, that's
3 p.m. But moves are already being made because teams are trying to free themselves up. And then you know what's going to happen. Tomorrow we're going to get all the stuff in the morning before stuff actually opens up. And the only team to ever get slapped with like a tampering charge, I think, was it the Knicks for Jalen Brunson with the Dallas Mavericks?
I think you're right.
I think they not only one ever, but the one that prominently comes to mind.
How'd that work out for the Knicks?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good. I think they're happy with the way I think they're in way better position than the Mavs
the
are.
Mavericks, yeah. I'd say
How about that, dude? You had Brunson, you had and Luka in the same draft.
Yeah.
And don't have either of them, and both those guys are gone.
Yeah.
And the best players on their team.
They had Nowitzki and they had Steve Nash at the same time. Now, clearly it worked out with Nowitzki and winning that championship.
Finally they got one,
But, boy, they embarrassment of riches for that franchise.
I'd say like the 03 Mavericks, when they were starting to become that. I loved that team. It was like Nick Van Exel off the bench. I think Michael Finley was there too.
Yep.
I think Sean Bradley came off the bench. Like Rafe LaFrance was around somewhere. And yeah, Dirk. That was a fun team. And Nash, I really liked that team. That would have been a Don Nelson Mavericks team.
I
think that was pretty early on. Anyway, on the LeBron James front, did we play the sound coming in here? Why don't we throw to this first? We'll start with Sam Amick, who joins us every Wednesday right here on Dirty Work. He was on ESPN talking about the Warriors and being skeptical about LeBron James. Basically, we asked him last week too. Would the Warriors really be open to LeBron? Would he really be open to leaving the Lakers? He says he's been skeptical in general that he was even going to leave Los Angeles.
It is definitely a TBD situation. The Warriors, because we talk so much about that possibility, they have been skeptical that he was going to leave LA and leave the Lakers. And really had kind of been, like telling folks, like, don't expect him to come our way. We don't expect him to come our way. We think he's going to re-sign with the Lakers. And I've kind of shared it in reverse. Like, I don't know about that. Like, it's still a little funky over there. And it's not, we talk about those personal dynamics in these relationships. Like, you guys know the history here. Like, it's been a little crunchy with LeBron and the Lakers these past couple of years. So we'll see what happens. Massive question front and center there, though, guys, is just LeBron has not clarified in any way what he's willing to play for contract-wise. So if he signals that it's, let's talk a $15 million mid-level, that's a game changer, and it's going to be a massive market. If he says, I got to get $30 million, then obviously that's a much smaller list of teams.
By the way, if LeBron says I'm talking $15 million mid-level exception, everybody else better watch out, because that means he's here for one reason, and it's to torch Earth in the Western Conference. He's here to be like, this is what I want. This is where I'm going to go to help it. I'm going to take that to make sure we get every piece I need around Steph and I so that I can play 55 games this year and Steph can play as many minutes as he needs to. We can carry the load for each other and then turn it up when we're just the 6 seed or the 5 seed. If we can make sure that happens, I'd be terrified if that were the case. I also don't think that's where they go.
And that would stick it directly in the forehead of the Lakers.
Yes, it would.
If he did that. Yeah. And what Sam Amick said there about the relationship between LeBron and the Lakers, I mean, man, Stevie Wonder could see that thing was once they got Luka.
Man. Yeah, doing like that.
Yeah. Once they got Luka, you could see that the LeBron-Laker connection, especially now that it's not wholly owned by the Buss family, the Laker get down, you could see that thing started to fracture. And you could see LeBron getting the sense, I believe the correct sense, that, we say this all the time, and I think it gets overblown, but I will use it to simplify it. This ain't your team anymore, brother.
Yeah.
You're not running the show here. Not that he would get to the Warriors in this hypothetical situation and be running the show.
But he'd be choosing that rather than having it happen around him.
You see the vision? Just like Stevie Wonder could see it.
So I mean, okay. So circling back, because what you just said is really important in all of this, and this is the linchpin that I think people are wondering if he leaves. Why would he leave Los Angeles? It's where his family is, where his kid is, where he wants to be. Because he went there to be the guy.
Yep.
And it's okay if the team is thinking about what happens beyond LeBron, but we all believe, and we all know he wanted Anthony Davis there. He was the big reason that happened. But we all said when they made that trade for Luka, there's no way this happens without LeBron knowing. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. And the way it's talked about now, the way he's behaved around it,
right.
If it were up to him, he would be the guy. He'd be the focal point still. Right. So if he can't be, he may find somewhere else to do that. And to your point, everything around him has changed. He doesn't get to call the shots that he wants to. Would he be more comfortable with a coach he's played for, with two guys who we know are good buddies of his, and Steph and Draymond, who is a good friend, and he wouldn't be that far from Los Angeles?
And so now let's talk about it from a lifestyle standpoint, because people say, well, why would he leave? His family's there. He's got roots there in L.A. He's not going to the Clippers, okay?
No.
The Laker relationship to me is beyond repair. And that's just my own personal feeling about it, but I feel very confident in saying that he wants to stay close to L.A., but he's not married to staying in L.A., okay? Bronny's a grown man. The other son is in college.
Yep.
The little girl, I forget her name, the youngest, that's the one you have to be somewhat tricky about. But if you're hooping in San Francisco, you're living in San Francisco, you're not that far away from L.A., where his wife and young daughter could stay to finish out school, and for it to be not as disruptive in terms of everybody being uprooted. You can get away with that if you are hooping in San Francisco. He's not going to Phoenix. He's not going to Texas. He's not going to New York. He's not going to Miami. You know what I mean? It makes perfect sense that the Warriors would be the natural landing spot for him to play with his homies, for him to be in a situation where winning is an option. Even though, again, talking about this hypothetical scenario, Steph's old, LeBron's old, Anthony Davis is old. We know, and injury prone. We know that. But if you can put that aside for a second, that's an attractive option, in my estimation, if you're LeBron, to go and play with these guys for one last ride for this year or maybe next year. You could do that, be close to where your family is in L.A., and still have the opportunity to play high level, hopefully winning basketball, and stick a sharp stick in the eye of the Lakers as a collective. It just makes sense.
I've been saying this for a couple of weeks, too, from a viewership standpoint. And I've been thinking for weeks, like, man, I don't know what the Warriors do. If they don't move this 11 pick, there's not a lot of free agents out there. Like Porzingis is viewed as one of the best. Giannis was always a pipe dream. And if you wanted him, you'd never be able to put together a package to compete with anybody else because they needed a player in return. I thought OKC should have been in on that. I was like, if OKC wants to go get Giannis, they could probably do it. With they could offer Holmgren and a slew of picks to get him if they wanted. The Jaylen Brown thing seems unreasonable in that if they were going to move Jaylen Brown, they're going to want a bunch of picks in return. And we'll see if they're even still open to doing that. There's some talk that they would be, but he's the other big name out there. LeBron's a free agent, and the reason this fits is you're already sort of committed, not sort of, you've committed with a 2-year deal to Steve Kerr, the Draymond situation, however you navigate the rest of the Steph Curry era and contract, plus the way you signed Jimmy Butler. I always thought it's a 3-year deal or a 2-year extension, but really it's the trade year and the year after, and then he got hurt. So if you're LeBron, and you look around the Western Conference and you go, it's going to be tough to compete in this Western Conference. How good would it be if he played for the Warriors with those pieces? How much better would the Warriors be? Not necessarily than the Lakers, but how much more enjoyable would it be? You've got a championship coach. The storyline for us as viewers is you've got 3 guys going for their 5th title. Steve Kerr's going for his 10th NBA title, and these guys could do it together with the championship pedigree. Let the old guys go together, do an Expendables run with the Warriors here, and try to take down some of the younger powers that be. Also, when Steph's off the court, LeBron can be the guy.
Right.
That's the thing, is you can manage Steph's minutes with LeBron. He will be on the court a lot without Steph, and then they'd be out there together. I think he'd be a top 5 defensive team also.
It's the most obvious and comfortable situation for LeBron. It makes too much sense.
Yeah.
The only negative would be is that collectively we're talking about dudes who are old. And we're talking about dudes who are, because they're old, are injury prone. And that's a big negative. That's a big, big negative.
I agree.
But to me, it would be silly to look at that as a negative, to just be like, nah, it's not a good idea. It won't work. Because if you don't get him, if you don't do it,
what's the alternative?
You're still one of the play-in group, which is not where they want to be. And that's not because, listen, this whole thing is, as it should be, about maximizing the last 2 to 3 years you have with Steph Curry, doing right by him, okay? They haven't necessarily done that over the past few years. We got Jimmy Butler, you tried, and I think that was a noble, worthwhile.
I was in and by the way, they tried it. They even kicked the tires on KD. Remember, and he's like, I'm not going there.
Right, yeah.
They kicked the tires there. And the only reason Jimmy landed really was, remember, that first he was mentioned, then they were out on Jimmy because Jimmy said, I'm only going to Phoenix.
Right.
And Phoenix was like, well, we're not trading, what was it, Bradley Beal's contract. They couldn't figure out a way to move that at the time. So then once the Warriors were the only option, Jimmy's like, well, cool. Now Jimmy's here saying, I love it. I don't want to be anywhere else. It's the only place that matters to me.
And they have to give him a new contract.
They did. They gave him an extension. So, I mean, he's owed $57 million this season.
Right. So, again, if this thing, as it should be, is about doing right by Steph and maximizing these last couple of years, getting LeBron in the mix and possibly Anthony Davis, while possibly keeping Kristaps Porzingis and having Draymond Green come off the bench, it's not perfect. It damn sure isn't suboptimal. To me, that's really maximizing these last, at least this year, it's upcoming season, of Steph's last go-around here as one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah, I love it. That's where I'm at. You're in for a penny, you're in for a pound at this point. If you were willing to do it with Jimmy Butler, why wouldn't you be willing to do it with Anthony Davis and LeBron James? And the thing you're bringing up about the age, the alternative is you're sort of standing pat, maybe a couple more additions or trades or free, whatever the hell they pull off. But if you're sitting here still with Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler alongside Steph as your top 2 pieces when you head into the playoffs or your top 3.
That's not getting it done.
How is relying on that recovery of an ACL injury and $57 million, how is that any better than going after a risky Anthony Davis? Like if Davis were your offseason move, I don't love that. That's not really something I'm super excited about.
Sure.
If it's Davis and LeBron, now I'm like, okay, you manage this a whole lot different. You know Steve Kerr knows how to manage these minutes. The rotations and systems he'd be able to put together would be exciting and titillating. Plus, you'd have a true closing group.
And just think about what was the big problem for Draymond last year. He just couldn't handle big players. It's
too much now.
They ate him alive. It's just too much for him. Now, Anthony Davis, in this hypothetical scenario, he handles the bigs, Draymond handles the other part, and you have some flexibility that you simply did not have before. So what does that mean? That means you're going to get more out of Draymond Green, and you hope that Anthony Davis is not as injury prone as he had been before.
But if he is, then you got LeBron. And you have, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing is
there you go.
You're not looking to Anthony Davis to be the one. And really, even when the Lakers won the title in the bubble, he was the one, but LeBron was the alpha. Mm-hmm. I kind of look at it as, I mean, Jalen Brunson is the alpha and he's the one, but Karl Anthony Towns wasn't going to get it done without an alpha. He was the best player on almost every team he was on. He needed Anthony Edwards. You needed a guy like that. Jimmy is an alpha. Whether he's the one or not, he is an alpha type player. Steph is that way as well. You got to have a guy who can do that. You don't need Davis to be that. He'd be your third option on the floor when it's him and Steph. And I mean, he'd be one of your top 3. But would you rather have LeBron and AD or LeBron and Jimmy?
LeBron and AD.
Yeah, me too. Because it fixes more problems.
Size.
It fixes more. That's been the big issue. Yeah.
Size. If I can get a bunch of athletic wings, give me some size.
Boy,
don't take that out of context. Please.
808 KMBR. It's not the size of the 5. It's the motion and the paint. 808 KMBR is the number to call. 415-808-5627. We'll get to some of your thoughts and belief on whether or not this is a real possibility. I know there's emotion around it where a lot of fans are like, dude, I don't want LeBron.
They don't like LeBron.
I get it. I like what would he even comp it to? It's not the same as like a Hershiser signing with the Giants. Because it's not like he was still Oral Hershiser, the Cy Young winner, the ace, the consecutive scoreless innings pitch streak. It wasn't that.
Right.
It's that this would actually help. This is way different than Chris Paul. You know what I mean? Like that was just a contract holding place that then they totally just gave away and ruined.
And here's my thing. And I understand the fans, reaction to Warrior fans. You don't want LeBron to come in here and you don't want him to be seen as or thought of as a savior. I get that. All right. I don't think that's a negative thing if you're a fan. I will say this. If Steph is cool with him, I'm cool with it.
Yeah. That's it. If Steph will vouch,
I'm cool with it. That's it. That's all.
Are you a Rounders guy? Movie Rounders?
Oh, yeah.
Remember the scene? Okay, good. Okay, remember the scene when Edward Norton, Worm, he finds out from Grandma, dude, he walks in. Remember Grandma's wearing a onesie? He's got that night worker sitting on his lap. He's got a worker sitting on his lap. He's like, get up, honey. He goes up, he's wiping off his hands, and he's telling him he owns it was 25 large, and he tries to vouch for him. Mike does. Matt Damon, he goes, fine, 25 large or I start breaking things. And he goes, fine, I got his back. He goes, then it's on you too. Then it's on me too. If this blows up and doesn't work, it's on you guys too. That's fine. But this is, if Steph's on it, that means Steph believes this is the best case he has to win a title. And if Draymond believes it means he's got the best chance with this group to win a title. And if it all happens and Steve Kerr's here, it means Steve Kerr believes this is their best shot to win a title as well. Because they don't do this without these guys being like, how does this work? How do we make this happen?
I think Steve Kerr and Steph Curry have earned enough equity around here.
Yep.
When there's something that they want, something that they like, or even something that they disagree with, for me personally, doesn't make them infallible, but I just go, okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Until proven otherwise.
Work, yeah. Because I don't think Jimmy was their first choice of all those guys. But I think when they look at it, they're like, what we had to give up, they're like, you know what? This is going to make the most sense for us, then okay.
Absolutely.
If this is going to help. 808-KMBR, 415-808-5627 is the number to call and the number to text. If you're a Warrior fan out there and you're hearing this LeBron potential news, how does it make you feel? And if you don't like it, what direction do they go? Where else do you go? Because if Steph and LeBron are going, dude, Wonder Twin powers activate. They're like, I don't know if either guy's getting it done by themselves, but I think together they may have a damn good shot. 808-KMBR, 415-808-5627. Does this move make you believe? I'm calling it a title heist. They're getting the group together to go steal a title from the Western Conference. Which move gives Steph the best title shot at number 5? We'll do that next on the Sports League.